Hello and welcome everyone back to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball live here from sunny Clearwater, Florida. My name is Charlie Brigham, alongside me, Kellen Flynn, and boy oh boy, we have quite the slate of games today. Starting in just a few minutes here, Michigan Wolverines facing off against the number 5 ranked Oklahoma State Cowboys. Sun is shining, nice little breeze. Kellen and I are in the outfield today. We're behind home plate yesterday. And actually, Kellen, we were just on TV the whole time, which we didn't realize until the very end. As we, obviously sitting right behind the backstop. We were just right in the frame of the ESPN cameras. But out in the outfield today, we were talking about it before the game. We are in prime position where if someone hits a home run, it could fall right into our laps.
Absolutely, Charlie. I mean, we are literally just right in left field. I mean, anything that gets over this left field wall is coming right at us. So maybe we'll get a little action, get to show off our hands.
It's going to be Michigan as the away team today. Give you the starting lineups for both sides. For Michigan, it's Ellie Mattia leading off. Ellie Sealer hitting second. Kiki Thole batting third. Same 1, 2, 3 as yesterday. In the cleanup spots, Melina Livingston, Maddie Erickson batting fifth. Riley Carcaboro batting sixth. Janelle Alacqua batting seventh. Indiana Langford batting eighth. Ella McVeigh batting ninth. And Jessica LeBeau will be pitching for the Michigan Wolverines. And on the side of Oklahoma State, it's Rachel Becker batting first. Talon Edwards batting second. Kylie Naomi batting third. Morgan Wine batting fourth. Caitlin Carwile batting fifth. Factor sixth. Lott seventh. Schneidmile batting eighth. And Bloodworth batting ninth. It's going to be Ivy Rosenberry wearing that number 41 jersey to start things off in the circle for Oklahoma State. First pitch on the way. And that one's going to be a called strike. And we are off and running here in Clearwater.
And we just watched this Oklahoma State team. We caught the tail end of it. They took this Louisiana team that played a really tough game against Michigan yesterday. They just took it behind the woodshed, run ruled them 12-2. So this is an Oak State team that is, I mean, they didn't get that number 5 next to their name by accident. They're a very good team, and Michigan has a lot on their plate today.
Second pitch to Mattia was a ball, so the count's evened out 1-1. Rosenberry goes to the glove. Now this one hit hard up the middle. It's going to be a close play, sliding, throwing over to first. What a play by the second baseman, Becker. Good for out number 1.
And we saw Michigan get lucky with a couple of those last night against Louisiana. Oklahoma State, though, that one's cleanly fielded and delivered to first base for out number 1.
Yeah, we saw Michigan in one inning score 3 times from second base on balls that didn't leave the infield. They were super, super aggressive running the bases against the Raging Cajuns. It's following the ground out. That brings up Ellie Sealer. Sealer was red hot yesterday, batting second in place of Lexi Blair. Blair not in the lineup today. We'll be keeping tabs on how that develops.
And Sealer, an excellent defensive outfielder as well. Typically in that left field spot, she moves over to center. And like you said, Charlie, she's been red hot yesterday, and so gets the nod from Bonnie Thole to move up to that 2 spot in place of Lexi Blair and take over center field duties.
Sealer reached base every time she came to the plate yesterday and had that scorcher of a double. The 1-1 pitch on the way. This one hit hard up the middle. That one's going to get through the infield, and that's the first base runner and first base hit of the ball game for the Michigan Wolverines.
And who other than Ellie Sealer to get it started for Michigan? Sealer just has been, I mean, we've been talking about it the entire at-bat, but she's been so good for this Wolverine squad down here in Clearwater. And speaking of people that have been dominant in Clearwater, who's at the plate now?
Kiki Thole steps to the plate. 2 homers in the game last night against Louisiana. She takes a big hack on the first pitch she sees, but comes up empty. Strike 1.
And you're right, Charlie. Kiki Thole, 2 long balls. That second one was just an absolute moonshot in the rain to center field. There's a lot of power in that bat.
The 0-1 and called strike in the outside corner. Thole down in the hole early, but she's proven this weekend and throughout her entire Michigan career that she can be a good 2-strike hitter. Plenty of speed on the base pass in Sealer. The 0-2, changeup swung on and missed. Rosenberg got her to chase downstairs. Nice pitch there from Rosenberry to sit down a very powerful Kiki Thole, and that'll bring up Melina Livingston.
Livingston, another very capable bat. Didn't have the greatest day yesterday, but always dangerous at the plate.
The 0-0 is outside. And Kellen, I just have to say, the Eddie C. Moore softball complex is just a beautiful, beautiful facility. We're over here on Field 9, the opposite end of the complex than we were yesterday, down on Field 1, but I would argue that Fields 8 and 9 are even prettier.
Yeah, and these are softball-specific fields. The other fields were kind of hybrids. They had to bring in the fences. But, I mean, this is as good as it gets. Nice broadcast center behind home plate for the TV booth.
Livingston fouled off the 1-0, so we're locked at 11. The pitch from Rosenberry gets her to chase downstairs. They throw over to first to try to keep Sealer honest.
It's either with all that speed over there at first. Definitely something that Rosenberry is going to be keeping an eye on.
Michigan struggled leaving runners stranded yesterday. In that first game against UCF, left 7 runners on base. Rosenberry taking her time, now looks at the wristband. The windup on 1-2. This one hit high down the line in right field. That one's going to get down. That's at least a double. Sealer rounding third, heading for home. Livingston standing up on second base. An RBI stand-up double for Melina Livingston, and Michigan on the board first.
And just like that, the Wolverines strike first. We saw they were a little bit slow to get started against the Knights of UCF. But not sure what's going on.
Looks like they're going to say Sealer left first early, so a brutal swing for Michigan. Instead of 2 outs and a runner on second base and 1 run on the board, it's going to be the bottom half of the first inning coming up. We saw that happen a few times yesterday.
And that's just a brutal turn of events for the Wolverines. A great hit for Melina Livingston. Spring Sealer all the way from first, but just left the touch early.
And that's one that hurts a bit extra because, you know, looking at where that ball was placed perfectly down that right field line, Sealer could have left 3 seconds late and still scored. But after the unlucky Wolverine swing, that's going to bring up the top of the order for Oklahoma State. It's Becker, Edwards, and Naomi, the first 3 due up. And Kellen, you mentioned before, this Oklahoma lineup is full of killers. I mean, you look back at that game against Louisiana, run ruled them. We walked in, and that game was already 11 runs under the OSU score column, and you know we thought that one could get even more ugly.
Yeah, it got as ugly as it could get, and so this is a squad that they're deep. It's not just one player. They're deep. The entire lineup is dangerous, and Jessica LeBeau has her work cut out for her. LeBeau pitched well in her limited work against Louisiana last night. Obviously, that game was delayed for about 45 minutes or so due to weather, and so LeBeau did not finish the outing. Lauren Durkowski picked up where LeBeau left off, but going to be a tall task for LeBeau against this, like you said, Charlie, deadly Oklahoma State lineup.
Different defensive look today from Michigan. Carkleborough starting at third base, McVeigh at short, Alakwa at second, and Melina Livingston over there playing first base. Is the first pitch out of the hand of Jessica LeBeau is a called strike. And then left to right in the outfield, it's Langford, Sealer, and then Mattia over there in right. LeBeau's 0-1. That one, a rise ball upstairs. It'll make it 1-1. Again, we'd like to thank you all for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball live here from Clearwater. If you're interested, drop where you're listening from in the live chat. Love to read them out. Love to have some back and forth with you all. Again, none of our coverage would be possible without you. The 1-1, another rise ball gets her to chase and dribbled foul. So now Rachel Becker down in a 1-2 hole.
LeBeau 20 Ks on the year in her 3 appearances, so definitely knows how to get batters to swing and miss.
The advantage pitch from LeBeau. This one hit hard foul out of the ballpark, and it looks like it might roll its way into the street, but a tree knocks it down.
I was worried that one was coming right for one of those cars going down Drew Street.
The tree's blocking a bit, but it's entirely possible a ball gets out there. We're going to do the 1-2 again, and another one ripped foul. Becker just behind it. One ball, 2 strikes. Becker, the leadoff hitter, takes a little walk, and now we'll step back in. This one hit on the ground over towards short. McVeigh fields it, throws across the diamond to Livingston, who makes the play inside.
Textbook there from big play Ella McVeigh. I mean, we saw her make a tremendous double play last night at shortstop, and good start for the Wolverine defense.
Becker shares a few words with the hitter Edwards, the senior, to start things off, and then a freshman batting second. So some words of wisdom, just seeing what she sees up there, and well, she sees that one go by as LeBeau blows it by her for the called strike. LeBeau taking her time, right foot on the rubber. Now to the windup, the 0-1. This one hit high and deep towards center field. That one's back to the wall and gone. LeBeau left it a bit over the plate, and the freshman Edwards punished her. A deep drive to pretty much dead center field, and Oklahoma State takes the lead.
And Charlie, that ball was hammered, completely barreled, straightaway center field. I mean, that's just a good piece of hitting from the freshman Edwards, who has been tremendous for Oklahoma State.
LeBeau gonna have to shake that one off as Naomi steps up to the plate. Another power bat in this OSU lineup. First one is a called strike. We're gonna have a quick meeting on the mound. Some underclassmen sprinkled through this Oklahoma State lineup, but looking, it's a senior batting leadoff, a senior batting third, fourth, and a senior batting sixth. And toss in one junior in there in Carwile, a very veteran lineup. Only 3 underclassmen, Edwards, who we just saw, the freshman, who just put a ball out, and then 2 sophomores to round out the order in the 8 and 9 spots. So the meeting wraps up quick. Everyone walks back to their spots, and we are set to go. LeBeau digs in, fidgets with the ball in her glove, and now deals. This one hit on the ground towards Ella McVeigh. Backs up to field it cleanly, throws across the diamond. Nice stretch by Livingston, and that one's good for out number 2.
LeBeau able to easily dispatch of Naomi there, but that was the bane to Michigan's existence in their loss yesterday. Their lone loss was the long ball. Lauren Burkowski gave up 4 home runs to the Knights.
First pitch to the 4-hitter Winnie is a called strike 1. Corners even with the bags, middle of the infield playing back. The 0-1 pitch, a rise ball upstairs, evens things out. The wind has died down. There was a nice breeze for a little bit, which, you know, regardless of how it affects the play on the field, I really enjoyed it up here. 1-1 downstairs, make it 2-1 now. LeBeau takes a lap to the back of the circle. Wipes her right hand on the back pant leg, and now we'll settle back in. Oklahoma State in the all-white with the orange helmets today. Michigan in the maize tops and blue pants. This ball hit on the ground. Riley Carcabro fielding it to her forehand. Flips it across the diamond to Livingston, and that one's good to retire the side.
LeBeau sees 4 batters, gets 3 ground balls for easy outs, but gives up the moonshot from Edwards to center field, and that's the difference through 1 inning in the books. And obviously Sealer left just a touch early, which brought an RBI double from Melina Livingston down the right field line, which was just an excellent piece of hitting back to end the inning.
Yeah, the long ball's really been the one thing that's affected Michigan so far through the Clearwater Invitational. I mean, go back to that first game against UCF, let up 4 home runs. Another one against Louisiana, another one early here against Oklahoma State. But other than that, these Michigan pitchers have been really, really good. Outside of the long ball, they've really been good at not allowing people to get solid contact, putting a lot of balls on the ground. Really pretty much anything that hasn't been a home run that's been put in play has been on the ground, or it's like soft bloopers that barely make their way out of the infield.
Yeah, and the pitching for Michigan has been great, like you said, except for the home runs, and obviously that's a big component of the sport, and so you've got to find a way to deal with that and manage and keep those balls from traveling out of the yard.
It's 5, 6, 7 due up for Michigan. Erickson, Carcabro, and Alakwa. After those, it'll be Langford, then McVeigh. As the Wait plays by the band. One of, if not my #1 favorite song of all time. The vibes are high today in Clearwater. Sun's shining.
I don't know how that couldn't be high.
That little breeze is back. Calling some softball. I mean, there's a good chance we get back to the hotel tonight and we're just absolutely roasted from sitting out in the sun all day.
Probably. But there's a high chance.
You know, it's a souvenir to take back. You get to go to class on Monday and everyone's like, oh, Kellen, you look like you just stayed in an oven for a bit too long. Like, where'd you go? And you tell them that you were at the Clearwater Invitational. First pitch is fouled off to the right-hand side.
That was nearly the same hit that Melina Livingston had last inning. Just a little bit shorter and a little bit more to the right that time.
Yeah, correcting myself, it's 4, 5, 6, Livingston, Erickson, Carcabaro. Livingston will get to retake her spot in the batter's box as Sealer left early. Now you see the right fielder, Carwell, really shading that right field line where Livingston put the last one. The 0-1, again, hit to that right side. This one looping up, barely missing the ESPN camera. No balls, 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter in Livingston. Corners, even with the bags, maybe a step behind. Rosenberry's 0-2. They're going to say it hit Livingston on that front left elbow, and she'll trot on down to first base. Unlucky break. If you're Oklahoma State, had a good hitter in Livingston down in an 0-2 hole, and that one just rides a bit too close inside.
Doesn't get much easier than that if you're Melina Livingston.
Now up to the plate steps Erickson.
Erickson's a freshman with some pop.
First pitch to Maddie Erickson. A big swing and a miss, but she wanted all of that one. Livingston, not much of a threat to score, but a really smart base runner over there at first. Rosenberry gears up for the 0-1. That one low and in the dirt.
And like you said, Charlie, Livingston not quite elite speed compared to what we've seen we see throughout some of the other players on Michigan's roster, but definitely capable and has the base running skills to do damage.
This one hit hard on the ground. It's going to make its way through the infield. Livingston looks towards third base, but is going to hold up at second. Nice piece of hitting there from the freshman Erickson, and that's 2 runners on for Michigan.
We've seen a couple of ground balls sneak through this infield that have been really hard hit. That's how Sealer landed her first hit in that 2 spot, and then Maddie Erickson drives one through the first and in between first and second. And just like that, Michigan's got another scoring opportunity.
2 runners on, 1 in scoring position. Rosenberry checks the wristband, winds and deals. First pitch on the way to Carcoborough is hit soft fouled on the first baseline. You know, since you brought it up, I can't stop picturing in my head someone hitting a home run to us and we're catching it on the broadcast. I caught that ball on the sideline when we were broadcasting March Madness. Caught a loose ball. That was awesome, but a home run would be electric.
And you know we're getting on TV too.
Oh, absolutely. We should make up a big sign to plug WCBN Sports if they flip the camera to us.
We do look like clowns though over here.
Yeah, trying to block the sun in any way we can. The 0-1 hits the outside corner for a called strike 2. Got the backwards hats on to protect our necks from the sun.
I've got my collar popped.
We do look like a couple goons. No balls, 2 strikes. No outs and 2 runners on. Carcoborough digs back in. Cocks the bat, back over that right shoulder. Rosenberry kicks and deals. This one fouled down off Carcoborough's foot. We're going to do it again. We're going to have a quick timeout. Carcoborough's going to walk over and chat with Bonnie Thole at third base. Get a little bit of game planning in. Also, just give yourself a second to recover from smoking your front left foot. Those ones hurt. I mean, you're swinging as hard as you can, trying to put a ball, 200 feet in the opposite direction, but instead you hit it 2 feet
and
down
it's a ball
straight
that's
into your foot.
Thrown about 70 miles an hour at you.
Count still 0-2. Rosenberry kicks and deals, and that one low and in the dirt, but a beautiful block. The athletic play behind the plate keeps both runners where they are. The count 1-2. Ivy Rosenberry wipes the hand on that towel in her back right pocket. Now goes to the glove. The windup. Low and in the dirt. 2-2 now.
Michigan with a chance to even it up here. It's going to have to come from somebody toward the bottom of the order. Can it be Riley Carcaboro?
Carcaboro batting 6th in this Michigan lineup. The even 2-2 count. Swung on and missed. Rosenberry went inside, and Carcaboro just went a bit over the top of it. So 1 out, but Michigan still in a very good position to put a couple across. Alakwa steps up to the plate.
Alakwa, the freshman we saw yesterday in some limited pinch running opportunities. Didn't get to see a chance at the plate, though.
Takes a big hack at the first pitch her way, but comes up empty. Alakwa up at the plate. Indiana Langford waits on deck. The pitch, hit on the ground towards first base, but it goes foul. Right fielder Carwile tosses it in. So 0-2 count here for the freshman. Alakwa righty. It's going to be 2 lefties in a row in Langford and McVeigh to round out the order before heading back to the top of the order with 2 more lefties in Mattia and Sealer. Rosenberry's pitch hits soft on the ground towards shortstop. Thrown across the diamond in time to get the runner at first, but both runners advance.
So productive out there, but now Indiana Langford, the freshman, has got to come up with a big-time hit here for the Wolverines. 2 runners in scoring position. We saw Michigan strand 7 against UCF.
Rosenberry taking her time. Now we'll go to the glove. First pitch. Langford waves at a bunt, but comes up empty. Langford, the freshman from Poway, California.
And she can flat out fly, Charlie. She has track speed.
The 0-1. Swung on and missed. Make it 0-2 now. This is 3 straight banners where Ivy Rosenberry's got up 0-2 in the count. Two runners in scoring position, 2 outs, and an 0-2 count for Indiana Langford. The pitch. Not going to swing, but she's rung up. We're going to say that one just caught the top of the zone, and Oklahoma State escapes a scary situation. Michigan leaves 2 more stranded.
That's just an excellent pitch there. Langford in a tough spot, in a 0-2 bind there. And Oklahoma State escapes yet again. Michigan with a chance cannot capitalize.
It's 5-6-7 due up for Oak State. Carwile, Factor, and Lott, and it will be Jessica LeBeau back in the circle. Again, the wind dies down and the air stands still. We'd like to remind you all that it is fundraiser week at WCBN. If you're in the Ann Arbor area, make sure to tune your radio dials to 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor, where you can learn on how to donate to keep supporting our station. As they flash a graphic up there on the screen, this Oklahoma State so far in the Clearwater Invitational hitting .391 as a team, and they've scored 41 runs.
Charlie, that's good.
Yeah, that would be good.
That's good. That's a good team. But in all seriousness, yeah, they've been just murdering the softball, and we saw that against Louisiana, putting up 12 through about 5 innings, I believe it was.
Defensive lineup still the same for Michigan. Left to right in the outfield, it's Langford, Sealer, Mattia. Left to right in the infield, Carcabro, McVeigh, Alakwa, and Livingston. And then Thole behind the plate with, of course, LeBeau in the circle. Have a quick stoppage of play as we're waiting for the most likely media timeout / commercials to wrap up. Of course, these games being broadcasted on ESPN+.
Why would you want to be anywhere other than with us here on WCBN Sports?
Exactly. You got the two goofiest looking broadcasters in the game right now. Here we go. Umpire walks back behind home plate, and we are set to go. James Colsey points to LeBeau in the circle, and now here we go. First pitch, rise ball missing upstairs, up by the eyes of Carlisle. LeBeau takes a quick lap to the back of the circle and now digs back in. The delivery on 1-0, check swing, not going to matter. It hit the outside corner, called strike one. One count. Carcabro shares some words of encouragement from third base. The pitch on 1-1 hit hard down the line. They're going to say it was fair, and it's going to roll all the way into the corner. Langford trying to track it down, throws it in. It gets past the cutoff, but reeled in. That one's going to be a stand-up double for Carlisle. That one was about as close as you can get. It barely passed over the top of third base because, I mean, the entire way it rolled in the outfield, it was in foul territory.
Wow, that ball just spins around the third base bag. Riley Carcabro made a valiant effort to get her glove on it, just couldn't quite get there in time, and then that ball was laced and slid all the way into the corner.
First pitch to Factor, high and outside. The junior Carlisle stands on second. The senior Factor up at the plate. Second pitch, a nice off speed, catching the outside corner. LeBeau battles her way back. We're evened out 1-1. Factor takes her time, and now we'll step up. The pitch, hit back into the screen. 1-2, LeBeau's out in front. Yeah, the sun's a little brutal, just beating right down on us, but I'll tell you what, when our 5 o'clock game rolls around, it's going to be incredible.
It will be picturesque.
1 ball, 2 strikes, a runner on second.
And Factor being this low in the order for Oklahoma State just shows how much depth that they have. A 330 hitter in that bottom half of the order.
2-2 count here. LeBeau deals, just missing low. You hear some oohs and ahs from the Michigan crowd. No outs here, runner on second, full count. Pitch count for LeBeau sitting at 22. The payoff pitch tips back, it just makes its way out of the glove of Kiki Thole. That one could have been a huge out.
We saw Thole back there for game 1 yesterday. And Bonnie Thole opts to do the same again today, like we see Riley Carcabro.
The full count pitch again, fouled back. We're going to do it for a third time. The ESPN guy in center field has the right idea. Has the umbrella up to block the sun. This dude to our right has the real hack. He's got like an umbrella attached to his back that hooks over.
It's like something you'd see over like a baby carrier, like one of those fold up like covers.
The full 2 rings her up. LeBeau just blows it by her and gets Factor looking.
Excellent pitch from LeBeau there. Factor thought she was heading on down to first. Instead, LeBeau paints it perfectly on that inside edge and gets a strikeout looking.
That'll bring up Lott. First pitch her way up by the eyes. This is only the 5th at-bat for Lott on the season, but she's been really effective in her 4 at-bats so far. 3 hits, 2 RBIs, worked 2 walks, and she has a double and a home run to her name. LeBeau's 1-0. Make it 1-1 as that one catches the inside corner. Not a cloud in the sky today. I mean, you really couldn't ask for better weather to play softball. LeBeau's 1-1. Just a bit high, make it 2-1. Good speed on second in Carlisle. LeBeau checks the wristband, confers with her dugout, and now we'll go to the windup. This pitch hit right back at her. Looks at the runner on second base, and now they're going to try to get her into a pickle, not in time. Both runners reach safely. Carlisle retreats back to second.
And I don't know that I love that decision from LeBeau. She's got to take the free out at first.
Carlisle was about halfway between second and third. I think had LeBeau just ran at her, she might have been able to get her in the pickle, and now Michigan's going to have a quick meeting on the mound.
And you're right, Charlie. If she just took off at her, they were pretty much even with each other. Maybe would have had a better chance. Instead of 2 outs and a runner on first, now it's 1 out with 2 on.
Home plate umpire James Colsey comes out and tells them to wrap things up in the meeting in the mound. LeBeau walks back to the back of the circle. Tosses a couple pitches into her own glove, and now she'll have the catcher, number 6, Schneidmiller, up now. First pitch on the way, upstairs, ball 1. The 1-0 swung on, tipped back into the glove. Kiki Thole squeezes it up. That'll even it out 1-1. Eight, 9, then top. Bloodworth waiting on deck. LeBeau crouches, deals. This one hit foul into the Michigan dugout.
And LeBeau's been sitting right around 67, 68 today.
No action in the Michigan bullpen, so they're letting her ride it out for now. The 2-2. That one low in the zone. Excuse me, that makes it 2-2. Two runners on. Carlisle, the only one in scoring position. Lott over there comfortably on first. Corners even with the bags, maybe a step in front. LeBeau's 2-2 hit high and deep towards center field. That one back to the wall, just making its way over the top. A 3-run blast. Oklahoma State up 4-0. That one the second home run of the day for the orange and white.
And again, we saw this against UCF. Lauren Durkowski got touched up a bit with the long ball, and LeBeau gives up her second through 2 innings.
That'll bring up Bloodworth. The sophomore, hitting .235 this year. First pitch, a called strike. LeBeau trying to bounce back here. 1 out up there on the scoreboard. First pitch hit over towards Carcaboro. Fields it cleanly. A routine ground ball fired across the diamond for out number 2. We head back to the top of the order. That'll bring up Becker. 0 for 1 so far today. Grounded out to Ella McVeigh at short, her first and only time up. LeBeau's pitch, low and in the dirt. Nice block by Kiki Thole. McVeigh shouts some instructions to the outfield. Carcabro takes her time. Looking at her wristband, LeBeau nods yes, and now we'll settle in. 1-0, catches the knees.
And Charlie, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier, but it's a different defensive lineup that we're seeing from Michigan this afternoon. Livingston at first. We didn't see that yesterday. Elako gets the start at second.
The 1-1 is ripped foul. Some fans who are stationed right up near the fence by the tarp. Quick jump out of the way. And they're just going to toss that ball into play. Looks like it had a gash on it from hitting the fence.
No Lexi Blair, no Audrey LeClaire either.
One ball, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. LeBeau pitches and gets it knocked right back at her, but she fields it cleanly. Livingston catches it, points over emphatically, saying nice play to her teammate, and that brings us to the top of the third. Oklahoma State tacks 3 more on a 3-run blast, and Michigan's got some work to do.
Oklahoma State with 2 home runs, but they've both been to straightaway center. Not showing us any love out here in left field.
It's 9 then top for Michigan. McVeigh before heading to the top with Mattia, Sealer, and Thole. The first 4 Wolverines due up. We talked about a great uniform matchup yesterday with Michigan in the all-white versus Louisiana in the all-red. But I think this one just as good. Michigan in the maize tops, blue pants and the maize and blue stirrups. Oklahoma State in the white tops, white pants, white visors with the orange stirrups.
I'd give the edge to yesterday, but I agree, this is another good uniform matchup.
So we have a shout out in the live chat. Thanks for broadcasting from a local listener in Ann Arbor. Again, if you're tuning in, we appreciate you so much. None of this would be possible without you all at home. We love just giving you all a shout out. So thank you, D-Mac. D-Mac, if you're in Ann Arbor, if you're interested, for more WCBN Sports coverage, Monday through Thursday, 6 to 6:30 p.m. on 88.3 WCBN FM Ann Arbor. Make sure to catch the Daily Sports Report, WCBN's weekly sports talk radio show. And after this weekend with the Clearwater Invitational, you got the Michigan men's basketball team facing off against Michigan State today. There's so much content going on. We're sending a crew to Cleveland for Michigan hockey. We got all sorts of stuff going on. Staying busy at the station.
Oh yeah, this is one of our busiest broadcast weekends of the year. Big time softball tournament, like you said, face off on the lake. One of the premier hockey games we're going to cover this year. Then obviously the Michigan State men's basketball game happening tonight.
Nine then top. McVeigh then Mattia. First pitch on the way to Ella McVeigh. Chopped down the third baseline. Throwing over to first, beating her by just a step. Nice throw by Bloodworth.
And McVeigh showing off the wheels there. Made that a little bit closer than it probably should have.
If you look strictly at average, McVeigh struggling a bit this year at the plate, hitting just 143, but she's been putting pretty much everything in play. Only one strikeout on the year, making it real tough on teams. She showed yesterday. First pitch to Mattia, an off-speed one that rides inside for ball number 1. Ellie Mattia, the transfer from Boston College. She digs back in now with a 1-0 count. Make it a 2-0 as that pitch from Rosenberry skips past the catcher.
Yet again, Michigan has stranded 3 runners. I guess technically only 2 because Sealer left early, but more or less stranded 3.
2-0 to Mattia, makes it 3-0. That one low in the zone. Mattia came into yesterday hitting over 400. The average sitting now at just a measly 381. .30 pitch on the way. That one a called strike. She'll have a 3-1 hitter's count when she steps back in. We mentioned yesterday the name Christina Burkhart, now Ellie Mattia. Michigan is really taking advantage of the transfer portal, and Mattia has been fantastic this year. 8 hits and 21 at-bats, 7 RBIs, a double, a triple. She's been doing it all. She chops this one over towards the second baseman. A nice throw from Becker to get her in time, and that's going to be 2 outs.
You know, the transfer portal giveth, the transfer portal taketh. Obviously, Alex Storako departing via the transfer portal, but then you bring in Mattia. So, how about the ACC? Michigan's done an excellent job of finding talented ACC transfers. You talked about Burkhart, who was an all-ACC talent with North Carolina. Mattia, a 2-time all-ACC talent with Boston College.
Up comes Sealer, who rips a line drive to the outfield. Hit that ball in the screws, but Factor just needs to take 1 step back. Sealer's been hitting the ball extremely well. Just hard contact pretty much every time she steps up to the plate there. That one no exception. She just couldn't find a gap. So a 1-2-3 inning brings us to the bottom of the 3rd. Oklahoma State looking for a few more. It's going to be 2-3-4 due up. Edwards, Naomi, and Winnie. The freshman Edwards, of course, was the one who started things off for this Oklahoma State team. A home run to dead center field.
LeBeau's got her work cut out for her.
Edwards, a .423 hitter leading off. Naomi, a .429 hitter. Winnie, a .200 hitter, but then right back above the 400s in Carlisle, hitting .409. And again, these stats are slightly inflated. We're only a few games into the season, but still, Edwards, through 26 at-bats, 11 hits, 7 RBIs, has scored 8 runs, also drawn 2 walks.
And Michigan drew Oklahoma State last year in the Clearwater Invite and lost 4-0. This is the second squad that Michigan's overlapped with from last year.
The score sits 4-0 right now as we enter the bottom of the 3rd. Oklahoma State, of course, looking for a few more. Michigan looking to get back in on the offensive attack, where they'll have 3-4-5 due up. Kiki Thole, Melina Livingston, and Maddie Erickson. But got to take care of business from the circle here. LeBeau taking her time, talking to her defense. Wind picks back up a bit. As the "Let's Go JL" chants come from the Michigan fans. LeBeau steps to the circle. The pitch to Edwards, a called strike in the outside half. LeBeau showing Edwards that she is not afraid of her going right at her there on the first pitch. The 0-1. Tried to go back to the same spot, but just missed a little bit outside. Ella McVeigh at shortstop onto that call. Kind of punches her glove a bit in frustration. One ball, one strike. LeBeau deals. This one hit hard on a line towards right field. Mattia comes over. Nice play in the gap to keep Edwards at first, but still a leadoff single.
Another good piece of hitting there from Edwards. How about her start to the afternoon? Home run and a hard hit single.
Gonna bring up Naomi. Shortstop Naomi grounded out to shortstop her last time up. This first pitch is fouling back off the net. 9 hits and 12 RBIs so far to start the year with 4 home runs. There's a reason she's in that 3-hole. This one hit high and deep towards center field. That one back to the wall, hits the top of the fence and stays in play. That one was inches away from her 5th home run of the year, but it clears the bases.
And that one was really close. I thought that. Wow.
You genuinely cannot get closer to a home run than that one was right there. It hit the very top of the fence, popped up, and just kind of floated for a second. Now the third base coach is going to have a quick word with the referee or the umpire wanting that one to be ruled a home run, but they're going to say it stayed in play, so it's an RBI double for Naomi.
And, you know, in a ballpark where you have the yellow stripe going along the top of the fence, that's definitely considered a home run, but not the case here.
And that ball hit the very top of the fence and just popped straight up and fell back down just in play. Sealer made a nice play on it, but she had an awkward time reading it because she didn't know whether to run after it, if it was going to go over the fence. Had to slide on the gravel at the warning track to toss it back in. Another meeting in the circle. The cleanup hitter, Winnie, is due up. She's got a runner in scoring position in Naomi. Naomi, all sorts of speed, 2 stolen bags on the year, has scored 8 runs. Helen McVeigh shares some words of encouragement with Jessica LeBeau in the circle, and now will drop back to shortstop. LeBeau trying to physically shake that one off, loosening the arms up a little bit as she'll dig in to face off against Winnie. The wind up, first pitch popped up foul. Ball through the infield, has a good chance to score Naomi at second. We mentioned her speed, but plenty of good arms around in the outfield. Langford in left, Sealer in center, and Mattia in right. The 0-1 missing outside. Michigan cognizant of the speed on second base. Carcoborough trotting over to third in case of a steal attempt after every pitch. LeBeau's 1-1. Hit on the ground towards McVeigh. It just gets through her legs. And now they're going to wave the runner home. Throw to the plate. Naomi sliding in time. What an aggressive base running tactic there from Naomi. Took off for home as soon as that ball got through McVeigh's legs, and Winnie ends up on second.
And McVeigh just gets right under her glove there, squirts through, and then a throw to the plate that's just a little bit off target and not in time for Kiki Thole to apply the tag.
an awkward play. Naomi started running. McVeigh had to read whether she wanted to go and try to cut off the ball in front of her as McVeigh dives, makes the stop, fires across the diamond in time to get the runner at first. Keeps Winnie at second base. And what a bounce back play from Ella McVeigh.
Excellent awareness to keep Winnie at second. And then delivers a strike, just rifles it over to Alina Livingston at first base. Throw just in time.
First pitch to Factor, called strike. And that play from McVeigh almost assuredly saved a run. Would have been a close bang-bang play at the plate. LeBeau with the advantage here. No balls, one strike. Missing upstairs on the rise ball. The wind is shifted, kind of blowing out towards left field here. Langford in left has given Factor an extra step. The 1-1 catches the outside corner. 1-2 now. Nice bounce back at bat from LeBeau. You know Factor's got power. 6 RBIs on the year as well as a home run and a triple. LeBeau takes a deep breath. Now winds and deals on the 1-2 and reaching for it, but just getting a piece of it is Factor. Following the foul ball, we're going to do this 1-2 again. Sign comes in from the dugout. LeBeau nods yes, now goes to the glove. The 1-2, fouled back again.
Factor really battling in there at the plate.
Tell you what, that's not something that'll show up on the stat sheet, but both Michigan and Oklahoma State refuse to go down easy. Just constantly battling off pitch after pitch after pitch.
This will be LeBeau's 55th pitch.
As you hear the groans from the Maize and Blue faithful, they wanted that one for a strike 3 punch out, but it'll only extend the count to 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out and a run around second. Infield playing even with the Bags. This one hit high in the air towards right field, tailing foul into the stands, and a fan quick jumps out of the way. Count will stay 2-2. Factor struck out looking in her first and only time up back in the second. The freshman Lott awaits on deck. Ella McVeigh jumps up and down a couple times at short, and another foul ball here.
This is a great duel we're seeing between Factor and LeBeau. Factor continuing to work the count.
The 2-2 again. This one popped up, but it's in play this time. Coming up and calling off Livingston at first is Alakwa, and she makes the play for out number 2.
And LeBeau wins that battle, gets her second out of the frame. Still with a dangerous runner on second, though.
Lott reached on a fielder's choice her last time up and ended up scoring. First pitch her way here was a ball. The freshman has power, a home run, a double, and 2 RBIs on the year through only 5 at-bats. The 1-0 from LeBeau. Hit hard on the line. That one's going to get past the infield. Alakwa dove for it, not in time. The runner's going to score from second. and extend the lead to 7 for Oklahoma State.
That's just a solid swing there. Finds the gap. Easy RBI single.
That one clears the runner from second, and sitting calmly over on first is Lott. The freshman continues her impressive start to this year. LeBeau's first pitch. Upstairs, ball 1. After missing up, LeBeau goes back upstairs and gets Schneidmiller to chase. Fouling it off, makes it 1-1.
Schneidmiller's been on an absolute tear ever since getting down to Clearwater.
Schneidmiller in her last time up. The home run, throw down to second base, barely beating it out is Oklahoma State. First stolen base we've seen as WCBN Sports so far this invitational. Lott takes second. As we were saying, Audrey Schneidmiller, the 3-run home run in her last time up.
That was Lott's first stolen base of the year.
And ringing her up is LeBeau. Gets her looking on the outside corner. Oklahoma State leaves a runner in Lott stranded on second base, but not before tacking more on. 7-0 the lead for Oak State as we head to the top of the 4th.
Michigan's got to find a way to get some runners across the plate. They've been able to get runners in scoring position, get halfway there, just haven't been able to quite finish it. That's a credit to some excellent plays we've seen in the field from Oklahoma State, and some excellent hurling from the circle by Ivy Rosenberry.
Rosenberry's going to be back in the circle here. Again, no reason to take her out. She's been great so far. Only let up 2 hits, no runs. It's 3-4-5, 2 up for Michigan. Thole, Livingston, and Erickson. Following that up will be Carcobaro batting 6th, Alak was 7th, Langford 8th, and Ella McVeigh batting 9th before we head back to the top of the order. Thole struck out swinging her first and only time up back in the first. Rosenberry so far today, 2 hits through 3 innings, has 3 strikeouts to her name. Pitch count sitting at a cool 38.
And Rosenberry's only saw 2 innings of work before today. 2 1/3, so this is her first, the longest she's gone so far this season, and she's pitched really well so far.
Yeah, you definitely couldn't tell that she really doesn't have any experience so far this year before this game. Bonnie Thole and Kiki Thole share a few words as we wait for the media timeout to wrap up. Again, we'd like to thank you all for listening to WCBN Sports coverage of Michigan softball. If you're liking what you're hearing, make sure to click that subscribe button and click the bell icon below the video feed so you can be notified anytime we go live so you never miss a broadcast. Like we said, we have a packed weekend.
Make sure you check out WCBN Sports 2 as well. Because we are so busy this weekend, we're going to have a couple of broadcasts on our second channel as well, because Michigan athletics never sleeps, and neither do we. So we're doing everything we can to cover everything that is going on. We're in 3 states today, calling 3 different sports. We are stretched about as thin as we can be, but
literally as thin as we can be. We've
would
got
not have it any other way.
3 sets of equipment, and they're all in use today.
This might be the first time we're in 3 different states, too, in one day.
I think you might be right. Kiki Thole takes a few deep breaths and now will step in. Again, we mentioned she had a monster day against Louisiana last night, a 2-run homer as well as a solo blast that capped off our coverage before the rain came in and washed everything out. First pitch low and in the dirt.
And that, quite literally, Kiki Thole hit the home run, and then after that the game got called. Another pitch was not thrown until the rain had subsided.
Fortunately, we weren't able to cover the remaining little bit of that game. We had to go back to the hotel and dry out all our equipment to make sure it was ready for today. Thole rolls over the top of one and knocks it over to third base, where Bloodworth throws it across the diamond for out number 1.
We were very fortunate that our equipment was not compromised.
Yeah, I was a little bit nervous.
Thankfully, we were able to get everything packed away before it could get too wet. We let it dry out overnight, wiped it down, and we're here today.
I complained the whole way here that I accidentally brought my winter jacket with me, and it paid off, I guess, because I still had it stuffed in my backpack because we couldn't check into the hotel until after our games yesterday, as the first pitch to Livingston is high and outside. So I just threw it over all our equipment when it was misting, I guess I would say, during the game, and then it kept everything dry enough until we could pack it all away. Rosenberry checks the wristband, now goes to the glove. The 1-0 to Melina Livingston. Up high. So we've seen Livingston twice today. Her first time up, she ripped a double that scored Sealer, but they said Sealer left early, so that was the third out of that inning. So she got up the next time. She went down 0-2 in the count and then was hit by a pitch and left stranded on third. She's got a 2-0 hitters count here. Make it 3-0. Is Livingston a bit confused? She thought that was ball 4. She tossed it. So she'll head back to home plate.
Not so fast. In the words of Lee Corso.
Livingston said it might have hit her foot. I'm trying to watch the replay.
And I think she might be saying I guess it doesn't matter. She's going to hang in there for pitch number 4 of the at-bat.
Livingston pointed down. I don't know if that was her saying, do I have to stay here, or trying to point at her foot. But either way, the count sits at 3-0. Rosenberry kicks and deals, and it's not going to matter anyway. That just delayed the inevitable. Livingston trots down to first base with a 4-pitch walk.
How about Melina Livingston drawing a walk, hit by a pitch earlier, and then has a double that doesn't count.
That'll bring up Maddie Erickson. Had a single to the right side in her first time up.
And this is the same way Michigan started the last inning.
That one outside. Erickson wanted it but decided to lay off, but I guess hindsight's 20/20. That one's called strike 1.
Inning number 2 started the same way. They stranded 2.
Rosenberry's 0-1. Up high, pops out of the glove of the catcher. But Schneidmiller able to reel it back in.
And that was an excellent play by Schneidmiller there to hold Livingston at first. Livingston wanted to take off there.
Rosenberry checks the wristband. Now winds and deals. This one hit towards third, popped off the glove, fired across the diamond. Nice recovery play by the shortstop, Naomi. Bloodworth was trying to run to her forehand to field it. It bounced off the glove, up into the hand of Naomi, who made the play in time to get Erickson at first, but a productive out. It moves Livingston to second.
And Michigan with another runner in scoring position now.
Kellen, I can't quite see who's playing on that other field, but somebody in red just hit an absolute moonshot over the left field wall.
I believe it's Indiana and Arkansas. So red doesn't really do a good job of distinguishing there. I'm going to guess it was Arkansas, though, because they have 4 and Indiana hasn't scored yet.
That's some great detective work. First pitch to Carcaboro was low in the zone for ball 1. The 1-0. Again low, make it 2-0.
And the Razorbacks fell to the Duke Blue Devils yesterday. That was a big-time upset. Number 4 team in the country, dropping to 19-ranked Duke. Another great game earlier between UCLA and Florida State. UCLA won that one 6-4.
Rosenberry's pitch, fouling back. Carcaboro took a big hack at it.
If you're a fan of softball, college softball, this is one of the premier events to get down to. If you're a fan of the sport, so many good teams, such a great environment, awesome facilities, beautiful weather. Not much more you can ask for, and awesome food too.
2 balls, 1 strike to Carcaboro, make it a 3-1 hitters count. That one was up near our eyes. We had some birria tacos before this. It was really good.
Saw some Jamaican jerk bowls too. Those looked really good. It's really good looking food trucks.
The 3-1 low in the zone, bounces up into the chest plate of Schneidmiller, but she had a nice block to keep Livingston at second. That one the second straight walk for Rosenberry. Now Michigan has 2 runners on.
2 on and 2 out. Livingston has the speed to score from second if Ilaqua can put one in the outfield.
First pitch to Ilaqua, high and outside. One ball, no strikes, 2 outs. The 1-0 to Ilaqua catches the outside corner, evens things out. So Michigan has runners on, but again, in danger of leaving them stranded with 2 outs there up there on the board. This one ripped towards third base. It goes off the glove of the third baseman, Bloodworth. And that's going to load the bases. Michigan lucky that that ball dropped out of her glove, but also unlucky because about an inch higher, that one would have been down the line and at least scored 1. That ball was absolutely ripped by Janelle Ilaqua.
Honestly, a great defensive play there to keep that, to knock the ball down, because that one was scoring Melina Livingston. If it's not knocked down, would have probably gone all the way back into the corner. That ball was laced by Ilaqua.
Bonnie Thole is going to have a quick chat with Indy Langford. Bases loaded, 2 outs. As the Let's Go Cowgirls chants start from the side of Oklahoma State.
And this will be Indy Langford's second chance with runners in scoring position to make something happen. Get the party started for the Wolverines offensively.
And now the Let's Go Cowgirl chants drowned out by a Let's Go Blue. Bases loaded, first pitch on the way to Langford, chopped foul. Ella McVeigh waits on deck. Oh, 1 count, 2 outs, bases juiced. Outfield playing in. This one again, chopped foul. Langford just behind it here. Both foul balls went to the side of the Oklahoma State bench.
And the Maize and Blue faithful doing all they can to get their team going here, find some kind of spark.
Rosenberry trying to decide what she wants to throw on 0-2. Finally decides and deals. This one again hit foul off the front of the Michigan State. I meant Oklahoma State dugout. Third straight foul ball from Indy Langford means we're going to do it again. 0-2. Wind up, the pitch, again hit foul down the third base line. Langford is all over it right here. Melina Livingston just 60 feet away from notching Michigan's first run. And the way that Oklahoma State has been hitting the ball, you're going to need as many as you can to, one, avoid getting run ruled, and two, to fight your way back into this one. The 0-2 from Rosenberry, again hit foul.
And Bloodworth is right there on that third base bag. I mean, Indy Langford has just been peppering the left side of the infield.
No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch to Langford. This one fouled back the other way this time.
And you see the speed of Langford. I mean, in an instant, she was already about 3/4 of the way down the baseline.
Yeah, that's the thing, is a slow roller in the infield might not be enough to get Langford at first. And now Oklahoma State going to have a quick chat with Ivy Rosenberry on the circle.
An issue for Michigan is that there's an out at all 4 bases, so the Cowgirls have a chance to potentially get Livingston at home, or Carcaborough at third if that were the case.
Carcaborough doing some stretches over on second, just trying to stay loose. Langford up at the plate right now is the 8-hitter. Ella McVeigh, the 9-hitter, waits on deck. No balls, 2 strikes still. Rosenberry goes to the glove after the meeting. This one hit fair, going to be fired across the diamond, not in time! Indiana Langford using her legs to leg out the infield single. All runners reach safely, in Michigan on the board.
And what did we just say, Charlie? Indy Langford with track speed, and she just able to leg that one out. Instead of going for the out at home, Bloodworth fires it across the diamond to first, and it was just not in time. Langford flying down that first base line, just beats out the throw.
And no discredit to Bloodworth. She has a missile for an arm, but Langford just shot out like a cannon towards first base. And now the bases are still loaded. Ella McVeigh up at the plate now. First pitch from Rosenberry, called strike outside. We mentioned it earlier in the broadcast. Neither of these teams are going to strike out easily. They're just going to fight and fight and fight.
And if you're Oklahoma State now, you're trying to get the out at home because Carcaborough probably has the least amount of speed between Ilaqua, Langford, and McVeigh, 3 speed demons for the Wolverines.
McVeigh fouls off the second pitch. That makes it 0-2. Again, flashback to that Langford at-bat. 5 foul balls in a row, all with an 0-2 count, and then that infield single.
And that's something you really like to see from a freshman early in the season, being able to fight like that against a really good team.
0-2 to McVeigh upstairs. Rosenberry finally throws a ball. Mattia waiting on deck, the top of the order. Again, the outfield playing in a bit. McVeigh lines up the bat. The 1-2. Hit in the air. That one's going to be a line drive that gets through the infield. Another run scores. Edwards throws it in. Everyone advances one bag, and Michigan tacks another one on.
And that's an excellent hit there from Ella McVeigh. Just pops it right over in between the shortstop and the third baseman, and no chance.
As the Let's Go Blue chants get real loud behind home plate. That'll bring up Mattia with the bases juiced. Taking her time, standing way near the front of that left-handed batter's box. Rosenberry winds and deals. First pitch called strike. That one's a tough one there if you're Mattia. That ball right down the middle of the plate. You don't want to, jump at the first pitch you see when you got bases loaded, but also that one might be the only good one you get. The 0-1, low and outside.
And a lot of speed all across the base paths for Michigan.
As a couple arms head down to the Oklahoma State bullpen. Just going to try to get some work in. The pitch to Mattia, hit on a line. They're going to say that one's foul.
And as soon as Oklahoma State sends out a couple of arms to the pen, they get a ball coming right at them in foul territory.
Now Oklahoma State lucky to not get hit by that one.
I think that second player's job is literally just to make sure that whoever's warming up doesn't get drilled by a foul ball.
And she almost did. The count sits 1-2. The deal to Mattia. This one hit hard up the middle. Another run's going to score. Langford getting waved around third. 2-run score. A 2 RBI single from Ellie Mattia. Ripped back up the middle of the zone.
And just like that, Michigan right back in this one. Mattia fired that one right back at Rosenberry. And the speed of the Wolverines brings in 2. Indy Langford. No doubt she was scoring from second. Mattia breaks the seal. She struggled in her first 2 chances. Comes up with a big hit there for Michigan.
So Michigan went from being down 7-0 with runners on first and second and 2 outs to now runners on first and second, down 7-4. And we are going to have a pitching change. So McVeigh and Mattia on second and first base respectively will still be attributed to Rosenberry. But we are going to have a new arm. It's going to be Bailey Runner, another right-hander for this Cowgirls team. 2 2/3 innings pitched so far this year for Runner. Sealer, the first Wolverine, 2 up. Kiki Thole, who waits on deck, was the one who led off this inning for Michigan. Seven to 4, Oklahoma State leads, but Michigan just one swing of the bat away from tying things up. Runner taking her time, getting a few more warm-ups in.
And Charlie, we saw a couple of big innings there from Oklahoma State. Now Michigan strikes back in a big way with 4 here and a chance to add more. All these runs coming with 2 outs.
Runner converses with her infield. As a huge hawk flies over the field and settles in its nest.
I saw that.
Up on the pole,
That's
up on the light pole on the right-hand side.
That's a majestic bird.
So the first hitter Bailey Runner will face will be Ellie Sealer. McVeigh on second, Mattia on first. 2 outs up there on the board. First pitch from Runner up near the eyes. Here's some barks from the Michigan dugout. The Maize and Blue are amped up here. They want this one bad. The 1-0 from Runner. Again missing upstairs. We mentioned Sealer's been red hot lately. 1 for 2 in this game with single in the first up the middle. And then a line out to the center fielder in her last time up. A ball that she hit on the screws. In fact, I just had to take 1 step back and caught it right at her chest. 2-0 hitters count for Sealer. Fouled off.
And like we've talked about, Sealer's been the hottest bat so far this weekend for Michigan. I mean, that out she had was still a hard hit ball, like you said. She's been tremendous at the plate.
2 balls, 1 strike here for Ellie Sealer. 2 runners on, the wide, the deal, riding inside, ball 3.
And Charlie, it shouldn't come as a surprise that Michigan's been able to convert some of these base runners into runs here, because Michigan this entire weekend has been able to get runners on base. They just haven't been able to convert, and finally they're able to string a couple more hits together.
3-1 hitters count here to Sealer. The pitch, called strike at the letters. Sealer thought that one was upstairs. It'll be a full count now. Arguably the biggest pitch of the game. Bailey Runner checks the wristband. Full count, 2 outs, 2 runners on. This one hit in the air towards the left center gap. Settling under it is Factor. A nice piece of hitting there from Sealer again. Solid piece of contact, but couldn't find the gap. We head to the bottom of the 4th, but not before Michigan puts up 4 runs with 2 outs in the top of the 4th to make this one a ball game.
6-Star Pro Nutrition is the official whey protein partner of the Clearwater Organization, showing off their new look and unbeatable value. Stop by their 10th store for swag, sample sheets.
It's going to be Jessica LeBeau back in the circle for Michigan.
And Bonnie Thole and company opting to stick with LeBeau. There's been really, we've seen 3 primary arms for Michigan this year. Durkowski and Emerson Aiken, the other 2.
It looks like we are going to have a pitching change, just a little bit delayed on the stat sheet.
Be the senior Hannah George.
So George come in to pinch hit yesterday. Now she'll take the spot in the circle in favor of LeBeau. So LeBeau's day is done. 3 innings pitched, 6 hits, 7 earned runs, 2 strikeouts. She was pitching well, was getting ahead in the count. Just Oklahoma State found the gaps when they needed to.
And George in the circle now. Emerson Aiken heading over to Michigan's bullpen to get loose.
George already done warming up, so she'll face the bottom of the order in Bloodworth before heading back to the top. It's Bloodworth, Becker, and Edwards, the first 3 Cowgirls due up. Quick meeting in the circle between George and the infield. Other than the pitching substitution, the lineup stays the same. Carcaboro, McVeigh, Alakwa, and Livingston in the infield. Langford, Sealer, Mattia in the outfield. Kiki Thole still back behind the dish. What is the top half of the inning for Michigan?
I mean, yeah, it doesn't get much better than that. 4 runs, and it wasn't one person. It was the whole lineup. Smart base running.
I mean, you look back at it, Kiki Thole grounded out to third base to start. Then Melina Livingston worked a nice 4-pitch walk. Maddie Erickson grounded out, but a tough ground ball that moved Livingston to second. Then Riley Carcaboro worked a walk. Janelle Alakwa loaded the bases with a single. Indiana Langford knocked a single through, or not even through, one that stayed in the infield to score the first run. Ella McVeigh had a single that had an RBI, and Ellie Mattia with the 2 RBI single. That's all 4 runs. Ellie Sealer was the one who ended off the inning with a deep fly ball into the left center gap, but a nice piece of defensive work to track it down. So here we go, new arm in the circle for Michigan, and the first pitch, a called strike in the outside half. Some let's go Hannah chants come from the Michigan sideline. Woodworth in her first and only time up, grounded out to third. That came back in the second inning as the second pitch misses upstairs.
And Charlie, just going back to the overall kind of experience here, this is a sold-out crowd. We had people outside asking us how we got our tickets, if there are any tickets that we knew of. I mean, this is a sought-after event to be at here in Central Florida.
1-1, Mrs. Lowen outside, making it 2-1. Yeah, I mean, you've got the stands to our right all packed out, stands to the left. There's stands, although limited seating, behind home plate. And then there's people standing up just kind of on the brick wall to be able to see over the people sitting down. Like you said, this is a very sought-after ticket, as a check swing makes it 2-2.
A couple of fans posted up in the one spot of the outfield where there's no signs blocking the fence.
Bloodworth takes a quick lap and now will step back in. Hannah George checks the left wristband. This her first appearance so far this year, as Bloodworth fouls off the 2-2. Yeah, we mentioned we've seen her a few times in different capacities. She pinch hit yesterday. This is her first inning of work in the circle. The 2-2 to Bloodworth. Missing low, make it a full count. Langford takes a little bit of a lap in front of us in left field. Full count pitch from Hannah George. This one hit back at her, jumps out of the way. Ella McVeigh fielding it behind her to make the play in time.
McVeigh's made a couple of athletic plays there at her shortstop position. Very rangy shortstop for the Wolverines.
And one thing that kind of goes, I don't want to say unnoticed with Ella McVeigh, because we talk about it all the time on the offensive end, but just her incredible quickness as the first pitch to the leadoff hitter Becker, a called strike in the inside corner.
And you can see the emotion she plays with. She's excited. She's a high energy part of this team. She's jumping up and down out there in the field. So,
and a lot of these like quote unquote routine plays that she makes are just because she's so fast. She can get to the ball early, as Langford knocks one down on a line drive to the outfield. Might have had a chance to it, but decided to play it safe and just keep it as a single.
And Langford again, seen her more at second base this year, but no Lexi Blair, no Audrey LeClaire in the lineup today, so Bonnie Thole making some adjustments.
That'll bring up Edwards, a red-hot bat in this Oklahoma State lineup. A solo home run to dead center field in the first. A line drive to right field back in the third. That was a single. She's scored both times. That one rides inside and hits Edwards. So she'll trot down to first base. And when came inside, she jumped out of the way and kind of folded over. And when she folded over, that's when it hit the elbow guard. So an unlucky break for Hannah George. That'll bring up Naomi. Had an RBI double her last time up back in the third. First pitch from Hannah George, a bit low, ball one. Carkerborough on third is shading the line a bit.
We've seen 4 home runs from Naomi just this weekend. Six of 10, 4 home runs, 11 RBIs. Probably the leading candidate to be MVP of the tournament.
The 1-0 was a called strike, so we're even out 1-1. Naomi tried to lay down a bunt, but she pulled it back. It went off the glove of Kiki Thole. Both runners advance.
That's a costly mistake. This puts Michigan in a bind here. After a big top of the inning to cut the deficit in more than half.
2 balls, 1 strike here for Naomi. George winds and deals. Nice called strike in the outside corner. Went a bit off speed there.
Naomi frozen by the off speed.
Becker and Edwards on third and second respectively. Plenty of wheels between the two of them. The 2-1 hits slowly towards the pitcher. Grant tries to field it cleanly. She throws it over to first, not in time. Naomi reaches first safely. Becker had a good jump. She'll score from third. That one's an awkward play because, I mean, that ball really didn't get too far outside of the catcher's box. But since the runner Becker broke for home immediately, Kiki Thole had to just stay home. She couldn't really go anywhere, which forced George to have to take the long run up to grab it. That'll put runners on the corners with 1 out, and up steps Winnie. First pitch chopped back to Grant, makes a nice play, looks the runner back to third, and fires over to first in time for the out. Naomi will advance to second base, but that's 2 outs now with runners on second and third.
And now a much more favorable position for the Wolverines. Takes a base hit to score a run.
Edwards on third, Naomi on second. That'll bring up Carlisle. Doubled to left her first time up. First pitch her way here, just below the knees, ball 1. Athletic play there by Hannah George to reel in the throw from Kiki Thole. Almost went over her head. George close to the glove on 1-0. Again missing low, make it 2-0.
Big time at bat here for both teams. Oklahoma State with a chance to blow it back open. Michigan with a chance to stay within striking distance.
2-0 on the way from Hannah George. Again missing low, 3-0 count for Carlisle. Wind blowing directly out to us in left field.
we've yet to see much action out here.
The 3-0 is just taken for a called strike. 9 hits and 23 at-bats this year for Carlisle. 2 triples, 5 doubles. Hannah George goes to the glove. This one low. Pass ball. The runner's going to break for home. Kiki Thole can't get there in time. Aggressive base running from Edwards makes this one 9-4.
And we'll have another huddle at the circle here.
It's runners on the corners. Edwards just scored. It's going to be Naomi on first, Carlisle on, Naomi on third, Carlisle on first. And it'll be the center fielder Factor, the one due up. After this ball game, don't go anywhere. Michigan has another one today. They face off against Mississippi State. Start time for that one, I believe, is scheduled for 5.
Yes, 5 o'clock. Mississippi State, same field. We're not going anywhere.
Going to be posted up out here in the outfield all day long.
Into the evening.
Fresh count. Runner's going to go to second for free. Carcabaro crashed hard. Factor squared the bunt, but decided to pull it back. 2 outs, 2 runners in scoring position. Naomi on second, Edwards on third. Pitch to Factor high, make it a 2-0 count. George takes a walk to the back of the circle. Now will walk back forward, plant that right foot on the rubber. The 2-0 to Factor. High, make it ball 3. Factor 0 for 2 thus far. Strikeout looking. As well as a fly out to second base. Waiting on deck is the freshman Lott. The 3-0. That one misses outside, ball 4. That's going to load the bases for Lott. Reached on fielder's choice her first time up and ended up scoring. Had an RBI single back in the third.
And Michigan just had a big 2-out rally. Oklahoma State not trying to do the same. They've put 2 on the board with 2 outs.
First pitch from Hannah George, low and in the dirt. Nice pick by Kiki Thole to keep the runners honest. Naomi at third, Carlisle at second, Factor at first. They can all run. 23 runs scored this year between the 3 of them. That one the first strike in a while for Hannah George, right down Broadway. Count sits 1-1. The freshman Lott trying to earn her spot into a consistent place in this starting lineup for Oklahoma State. She watches the 1-1 go by outside. Two balls, 1 strike. George checks the wristband. The delivery with the bases loaded, fouled back. Lott took a big cut at that one. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and the bases loaded. Oklahoma State holds a 9-4 lead, looking to make it a bit bigger. The pitch, high and outside. Full count, 2 outs, bases loaded. You got to think that Lott has ran through this scenario in her head about 1,000 times in her life.
Big time stage like this here at the Clearwater Invite.
Full count pitch, rings her up. Huge pitch from Hannah George, caught Lott looking. And Oklahoma State leaves 3 stranded.
And that's a big time out there for Hannah George. Obviously Oklahoma State with 3 runners on, bases loaded, and Lott can't get it done. George able to clear the slate for Michigan, only give up 2, and keep Michigan in this ball game.
They're going to have 3, 4, 5 due up. Kiki Thole, Melina Livingston, and Maddie Erickson. They're the 3 who got things started in the top half of the 4th inning that brought Michigan back within striking distance. It was a 3-run ball game. Score sits 9-4 right now. Oklahoma State out in front. In the circle is Bailey Runner. You know what I was just thinking about, Kellen?
What were you just thinking about, Charlie?
So out here, right, we're going to be posted up above the left field wall.
Yes.
Until probably 8 o'clock tonight.
Yes.
Just about. We got here, say what, 1:30-ish? Something like that.
Yeah.
We are, like, you know the kid who gets, like, picked very last in kickball that nobody wants on their team? We're just like the all-time left fielder. They're like, just go stand really far out there. Just stay out of the way. You know what? Go stand behind the fence. That way, if any home runs come your way, you can catch them.
Yeah, that way we don't need to send anyone out there to get him.
Yeah, exactly. You can just throw them back in. Oh no, don't worry. You don't have to come in and kick. We'll do all the stuff on the field. You guys just stay out there.
Well, and across the field from us, we can see Indiana having some trouble with Arkansas. They're down 7-0. Razorbacks feasting right now. As ESPN is showing a couple of replays of some moonshots by that Razorback team.
Again, 3-4-5. The first Wolverines due up. Thole, Livingston, Erickson. Bailey Runner has yet to face these 3. She came in near the end of that rally. First pitch on the way to Kiki Thole. Big swing and dribbles it foul to the left side. I think Kiki heard us talking there and felt bad that we've just been sitting out here because she swung like she wanted to hit that ball right into your chest.
I'd appreciate that. I'm confident I'd make the play.
No balls, 1 strike. The wind up from Runner. Swung on and missed. Goes off speed there. Thole just waves right over top of it.
Thole befuddled there by the off speed.
No balls, 2 strikes. Thole stands unwavering on that right side. The wind up from Bailey Runner. This one hit hard on the ground towards shortstop. An awkward bounce. Naomi stays with it, fires across the diamond in time for out number 1.
Naomi so steady for this Cowgirl team at the plate and in the field as well.
That'll bring up Livingston.
Livingston's the one that got the party started last inning for Michigan.
Worked a 4-pitch walk. Was hit by a pitch back in the 2nd inning. In the 1st inning, she saw her first quote-unquote at-bat where she ripped the double that ended up getting overturned because Sealer left early. You can tell Livingston wants to hit. She was annoyed at those past 2 at-bats. In the 2nd, she got hit, so just had to trot down to 1st. In the 4th, didn't really see a pitch to hit. And there's another one that she's just going to let go by. It bounces in that left-handed batter's box.
And she had trotted down early, but just after 3 pitches, then was told she needed to come back, left 1 pitch too soon, and then next pitch she saw was another ball for ball 4.
1-0 pitch on the way to Livingston. Make it 2-0, that one above her head. Knocks some dirt off her cleats, takes a couple big practice acts. The freshman Maddie Erickson waits on deck. Runner checks the wristband. 2-0 hitters count on the way to Livingston. The pitch hit high towards center field, just kind of got under it a bit. Settling under it is Factor, and that one good for out number 2.
Factor hasn't had to do too much in center field. Been very well positioned for pretty much everything that's come her way.
Yeah, she's got like 3 or 4 balls right now. I think she's taken maybe 3 or 4 steps. Here comes Erickson.
Just can't seem to get away from her.
Single their first time up. Watches the first pitch go by up near her glasses for ball number 1. Runner taking her time between pitches, not in any sort of rush. The 1-0 delivery to Erickson. This one hit high towards left center field. Tracking over for it is Factor in making the play in the gap.
A couple of hard hit balls there by Livingston and Erickson, but all for naught. Factor just a vacuum in center field.
We head to the bottom of the 5th. Oklahoma State holds a 5-run lead. 9-4 is the score. It's 8-9 top. Schneidmiller, Bloodworth, and back up top to Becker. Hannah George will retake the spot in the circle. You know, we saw Emerson Aiken warming up a bit earlier, but Michigan does indeed play right after this. They face off against Mississippi State.
Of a little bit of a window, unlike last game. It was really bang bang. Michigan should have probably about an hour or so in between, depending on how soon this one wraps up.
Yeah, that is the question, because you know, a lot of these tournaments that aren't televised, they just, you know, would kind of roll into the next game, just prep up the field, and you know, when everyone's ready to go, they'd go. But, you know, like you said, or like we've talked about, these games are being broadcast on ESPN Plus, so I'm curious as to whether or not they have to, you know, stick to those time regiments.
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily network TV. Some of the games are on the ESPN networks, but the ones that are on the streaming services, I'm sure there's a little more flexibility.
Leading off the bottom of the 5th for the Cowgirls, the catcher, Audrey Schneidmiller.
Audrey Schneidmiller steps up to the plate. 1 for 2 so far today. A 3-run blast and a strikeout looking. Hannah George taking her time, wipes some dirt in her hands.
Time ticking away here for Michigan. Each frame that goes by, gotta start to chip away at this lead, and it starts with holding the Cowgirls here.
First pitch to Schneidmiller, swung on, popped up in foul territory. Livingston more than able to track it down for out number 1. That an efficient out. 1 pitch, 1 swing, and 1 out up there on the board.
That's just how you draw it up if you're Michigan and Hannah George. 1 quick out. Got to keep moving along through that lineup.
That'll bring up the third baseman, Bloodworth. She's been excellent on the defensive end today as she watches pitch number 1 go by for a called strike. 2 ground outs, 1 to third, 1 to short.
And
as the Let's Go Cowgirls chants start back
honestly,
up.
this Oklahoma State team can afford to have her struggling a little at the plate with how well she's been on defense.
As she hits a line drive to right field, Ellie Mattia gets some action for the first time today. And that one's good for out number 2. Again, pretty efficient inning so far for Hannah George. A first pitch pop-up, and then she throws one ball, and then the next pitch is lined out to the outfield.
Can't get too much more efficient than that.
That'll bring up the leadoff hitter, Becker. Singled her first time up, and there's another single there. She dribbles one towards Mattia in right.
And Hannah George and Michigan got to be careful here. You don't want to let this Cowgirl lineup get going because you're right into the teeth of it now.
That ball from Becker wasn't hit crazy hard. It was just placed really well in kind of no man's land between Alakwa and Livingston. And now here's a hitter you were hoping to avoid at all costs. As Edwards swings on the first pitch, pits one in the gap. Langford coming around. It's a stand-up double. The run's going to score from first. Didn't even have time to talk about her. Edwards has been incredible today. Has scored all 3 times up. Now she's standing on second in her 4th time up. Has a home run, a single, and a hit by pitch. And now toss a double. She's just a triple away from the cycle.
Just a tremendous day at the plate. Can't really say much other than that. For Edwards.
Score now 10-4. That'll bring up Naomi. She's got a double and a single of her own. 2 RBIs. Has scored 1 run. Edwards stands on second. We saw her score earlier. She is aggressive on the base pass. Is that pitch a called strike? A changeup right at the knees. As a team today, Oklahoma State hitting .385, 10 of 26. Hannah George deals that one, another called strike, and Naomi unhappy with that one. She kind of turned to the home plate umpire and asked James Colsey where that one was. Third base umpire Matt Dial, the home plate umpire from Michigan's game against Louisiana last night. The 1-2 pitch from Hannah George. This one popped up, making its way barely out of the infield grass. Tracking it down is McVeigh. Nice job there throwing off the visor. She reels it in. That'll retire the side. Oklahoma State puts up 1 in the bottom of the 5th to extend their lead 10-4.
And Hannah George does a good job of mitigating damage there. That could have gotten a lot worse very easily with Naomi and the rest of the teeth of that Oklahoma State lineup coming up, but does a good job of getting out of the inning, only giving up 1 run. And Charlie, how about Edwards? She has been downright phenomenal today at the plate. I mean, we already went through. She's just a triple away from the cycle. They've got a good one in the freshman.
Yeah, Talon Edwards has had quite the day. And just the second at-bat of the day for the Cowgirls, a solo home run to dead center field. And the next time up in the 3rd, had a single to right field where she scored. The next time up was hit by a pitch where she scored and was left stranded on second there, but she had an RBI double. It's the latter half of the order due up for the Wolverines. Cockerborough, Alakwa, Langford, 6, 7, 8 before Ella McVeigh, then the top of the order. It is Bailey Runner back in the circle.
Two more chances for Michigan. Really got to start cutting into this lead here. Need another big inning.
Michigan has shown that when they score runs, they can do it in bunches. And well, the Wolverines would like some of that now.
I'd say another 4-run inning would be just what the doctor ordered.
10-4 is what the scoreboard reads. Oklahoma State out in front. Carkerborough with a strikeout and a walk. Her last time up in the fourth when she walked ended up scoring. Runner checks the wristband and now deals. Corners of the infield playing in. First pitch passes the shins of Carkerborough. That's going to be ball one. One ball, no strikes here. Alakwa waits on deck, trying to get her timing. Two righties, then two lefties, the last four Wolverines here. That one a called strike. Bailey runner taking her time, checking the wristband. Now delivers. That pitch low into the dirt. Nice block by Schneidmiller behind the plate, but no real harm, no runners on base. The wind blowing a bit towards kind of dead center field, but not too strong. The 2-1 on the way from runner. Up near their eyes, 3-1 now for Carkerborough.
Carkerborough is going to need to be a key contributor for Michigan this season. The second catcher on the squad, and see her at third base today. Definitely see some time at first this season as well.
Can do it all. That one, a check swing that goes off the bottom of the bat. It's going to be a close play at first. Oklahoma State can't field it cleanly, so she'll reach.
And Carkerborough didn't even get a good jump out of the box there. She kind of hesitated for a second, then just took off, and Oklahoma State hesitated just a second longer, too. The catcher, Schneidmiller, just hesitated a good 2 seconds before popping up to attack that little dribbler there.
Yeah, that one was an awkward play. Like, it seemed like nobody really realized if it was a fair ball or a foul ball, but either way, that'll put a runner on, and that'll bring up Janelle Alakwa. First pitch her way outside.
Alakwa, another one of the key contributors in that big inning in the fourth for Michigan.
1 ball, no strikes. Carkerborough over there on first. Alakwa takes a big swing at this one. Coming our way over our heads and gone. 2-run blast from Janelle Alakwa. Oh, I wanted that one. I thought we had it.
And talk about a blast. That ball was absolutely crushed by the freshman. I mean, that we had no shot at that. We both stood up. I could have jumped for that ball and still been a good 2 feet short, as that ball was just hammered.
That ball absolutely smoked. As we're watching the ESPN replay, trying to see ourselves standing up in left field, I mean, that ball was just demolished.
Straight up obliterated, in Michigan. We've got a ball game again, Charlie.
We were talking about it all day long. One finally comes our way and well over our head. And with that, that's going to do it for Bailey Runner as well. They're going to do a pitching substitution. But what a swing of the bat from Janelle Alakwa. Had a single back in the fourth inning, a 2-run blast right there. And I mean, that one was a 2-run blast. That one landed, I would say, a good 30 feet behind us. And
oh, easily.
Kind of landed at the bottom of the gully, but I mean, that ball was going to run.
It's an Alabama transfer, Lexi Kilfoyle, in for the Cowgirls now. Third pitcher we've seen.
12 1/3 innings of work this year for Kilfoyle. 14 strikeouts to her name. I'm like giddy. That was so cool. Watching that ball go overhead, I thought we had it for a second. When it came off the bat, I thought it was going to fall short. That would have been sick, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Imagine.
I wanted that.
I wanted it
that
so
ball.
bad. Kilfoyle's got 8-9, then top. Indy Langford, Ella McVeigh, then back up top to Ellie Mattia.
Michigan's back in business.
The left fielder, Indiana Langford.
Kilfoyle wraps up her warm-up pitches, and now she'll go to work. She faces off against Indy Langford first. Langford with an RBI single back in the fourth, one that didn't leave the infield, one that barely left the batter's box, but she showed off the wheels. First pitch on the way from Kilfoyle. Outside, Langford tried to lay down a bunt, but puts it foul. We'll have to go back and watch the replay later. No balls, one strike.
Absolutely, we're taking a look at that later.
Top of the sixth inning, no outs. Langford knocks one foul. We saw her battling her last time up. That single came after 5 foul balls. And hit 5 about exactly like she just fouled that one off. Just a bit behind it, hits it right in front of the Oklahoma State bench, but then just settles back in and goes to work. No balls, 2 strikes here for Langford. Lexi Kilfoyle deals. This one hit on the ground. It's going to be a close play across the diamond just in time, and Michigan unhappy with that call. Langford thought she beat it out. Saw the punch-out call and squatted right down, put her head in her hands. I mean, that one is a bang-bang play. Let's take a look at the replay. Oh, I don't know about that one. I think she's safe.
That's a really close call.
No replay overturn capability, so that one's just going to go down as an out. That'll bring up Ella McVeigh. RBI single to right fielder last time up. Watches pitch number 1 go by. Called strike 1. McVeigh, then Mattia waits on deck. Middle of the infield playing even with the Mags. Corners playing well in front of him. Wind up. Missing low and outside. The Indiana-Arkansas game has wrapped up. The way it was looking most likely by run rule. Didn't get to see the final.
Ended 7-0. Arkansas on top.
Top of the 6th inning here. 10-6 is the score. Oklahoma State out in front. 1-1 count to McVeigh. They're going to peel down to third base and say she went, and Ella McVeigh unhappy with that call.
Razorbacks making their way to their bus behind us.
Bonnie Thole turns around and asks the third base umpire, Matt Dial, with, from what looked like over here, a look of kind of like, are you serious? At least from our spot, that didn't seem close. Like, it seemed like McVeigh held that one well back. The 1-2 to McVeigh. Dribbled slowly, coming across, throwing on the run is Bloodworth, and in time to make the play.
Another dribbler in the infield. That one Michigan unable to beat out, but we've seen them have success a couple of times with the speed across the lineup.
Two outs in the top of the order up in Mattia. A 2 RBI single back in the 4th inning as you watch this pitch number 1 go by. Called ball 1. Can't tell if this set of bleachers to our right is just all the Oklahoma State fans or all the fans that just wanted to sit in the shade. Probably a good mix of both.
I'd agree with that.
1-0 to Mattia. Make it 2-0. That one rolled halfway to the plate. Oh yeah, I'm seeing some maize and blue over there in the shade. Just the more heat cognizant Michigan fans. 2 balls, no strikes here for Mattia. The pitch, called strike at the knees. Lexi Kilfoyle now at an even 13 total innings of work this year. 14 strikeouts to her name. Taking her time, reads the wristband, now goes to the glove. The long windup from Kilfoyle. Swung on, tipped back into the glove, make the count 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Michigan down to their final 4 outs of this ball game. Kilfoyle spins the ball in the glove, now deals. This one popped up foul into the stands, and a fan tosses up a hand to knock it down.
Valiant effort there, probably saved a life.
I don't know about that. I don't think that ball was hit that hard.
Maybe a little bit of hyperbole, but
Foul ball keeps the count at 2-2. Mattia digging in on that left side. Lexi Kilfoyle winds and deals, ball 3. Some cheers from the Michigan side, some boos from the side of Oklahoma State. Left fielder Edwards in front of us doing the punch-out sign. She wanted strike 3. Full count, 2 outs. Mattia looking to keep Michigan alive. Swung on, hit towards first base, right into the glove of Winnie. That's going to do it for the side. 4, 5, 6 due up for Oklahoma State, looking for a few more insurance runs as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Winnie, Carlisle, and Factor. The first baseman, Winnie, 0 for 3 so far today. Reached on error back in the 3rd.
Michigan gonna have one more frame to climb all the way back here, and it starts with Hannah George in the circle and executing in the bottom of the 6th. Don't want to make it any harder on it yourself.
She's going to have to go through the meat of this lineup. Give you the scoring recap inning by inning. Oklahoma State led 1-0 at the end of the 1st, coming off the solo shot from Edwards, and tacked on 3 more in both the 2nd and the 3rd to make the lead 7-0. Michigan put together a 2-out rally in the top of the fourth, scoring all 4 runs there with 2 outs to make the score 7-4. Oklahoma State tacked on 2 more in the fourth to make the score 9-4. 1 more in the bottom of the fifth made it 10-4, and then the 2-run blast from Alakwa brought Michigan within 4 runs. It's 10-6 as it sits right now in the bottom of the 6th inning.
And that ball by Alakwa was crushed. That is the hardest hit ball. Maybe I don't know. That Kiki Thole home run was hard hit as well.
Yeah, Kiki crushed both of those balls yesterday. I don't know. That ball cleared us and just kept going.
Because where we're sitting is elevated over the left field wall. Then we both stood up, reached our arms up, and still weren't even close.
Weren't even remotely close. That ball was cruising.
So I don't know. That's definitely one of the harder hit balls we've seen.
10-6 the score. Again, 4-5-6 due up for Oklahoma State. Hannah George in the circle. First pitch on the way. Just below the knees, called ball 1.
Bonnie Thole seemingly preserving Durkowski and Emerson Aiken for our 5 o'clock showdown with the Bulldogs of Mississippi State. But there's still a whole frame to go.
The 1-0 moves up about an inch and a half, but that one good enough to be called strike 1. Michigan at number 25 in the country. This could be a huge win over a very good Oklahoma State team. Make it strike 2 now. One ball, 2 strikes to the leadoff hitter, Winnie. George winds and deals. Just missing outside. Here's some oohs from the Michigan crowd. Georgia's pitch count sitting at 44. The wind up, hit hard on the ground, diving for it and knocking it down. The runner's going to reach safely. Carwile will step up to the plate now. First pitch on the way to Carwile. Low and out of the zone, ball 1. It is Fantucci at shortstop, and this ball hit on a line towards left center field, or right center field rather, hits off the wall in the air. The runner being waved around third and now held up. That ball was scorched off the bat of Carwile.
Carwile with another well-hit ball. We saw her do that earlier today. Just can't quite seem to get it over the fence.
And we are going to have a pitching change, so Hannah George is done in the circle for today. The runners on second and third will be attributed to her. It is going to be Emerson Aiken to come and take the circle. So Aiken in the circle and Avery Fantucci, the 2 substitutions for Michigan this inning. Aiken's thrown 5 2/3 innings total so far this year.
And we saw A lot of ground balls yesterday delivered by Aiken.
Michigan, 22 for 21.
So expect to see more of that. Big change from Durkowski, who was seemingly a strikeout or a well-hit ball into the outfield. Now Aiken, more of a ground ball pitcher.
Running at third base for Wynn, number 17, Angelina Craig.
No outs up there on the board. It's going to be runners on second and third. Winnie at third, Carlisle at second.
And Charlie, you've got to think that you're doing everything you can to keep both of these runners from crossing home plate, because 4 runs is a tall order in the 7th inning, and increasing that total to 5 or 6 just to tie it would be really tough against the Oklahoma State lineup that scored in every inning and would still get another chance in the bottom of the 7th to do some more damage.
Ten to 6 is the score. Aiken wraps up her warm-up pitches, and now she'll go to work. She's got the center fielder Factor to deal with first. Factor 0 for 2. Strikeout looking, and a fly out to second. Pass ball, diving play at the plate, not in time. Winnie crashes hard. Kiki Thole dove back towards the bag, but not in time. James Colsey wipes off home plate, and we're going to reset pretty much right back where we were. Aiken's first pitch, a wild one that scores the runner from third. The 1-0. Missing high, make it a 2-0 count now for Factor. Carlisle also advanced on the pass ball. She's sitting comfortably at third. Aiken takes her time, now goes to the windup. Make it 3-0. She misses upstairs. Jessica LeBeau doing a bit of warming up over there in the Michigan bullpen. Infield playing in, outfield playing in a bit as well. 3-0 pitch, call the strike, make it 3-1. Carcabro even with the bag at third. Livingston even with the bag at first. McVeigh and Alakwa as well, right in the base pass. Emerson Aiken taking her time between pitches, now delivers on 3-1. This one hit on a line, trying and track it down as Langford. It goes off her glove. She hits the deck. Sealer coming up, picking it up, throwing in. The base is clear. That one's going to be a stand-up double for Factor.
And that puts another run on the board for the Cowgirls in a lineup that's been so effective throughout the game and so consistent. Scored in every frame. That's a tribute attributed to the depth of this squad.
First pitch for Macon, misses low. And here comes the freshman Lott. Lott's been very good so far. She watches pitch number 2 go by low and in the dirt. Reached on a fielder's choice and had an RBI single. Hannah George stuck her out looking in a key spot in her last time up. Aiken winds and deals on 2-0. That one a changeup that misses just below the zone.
Aiken just trying to get Michigan out of the frame here, but still no outs on the scoreboard.
3-0 count. That one well high, and Lott's going to trot down to first base.
It looks like we're going to have another substitution, this time for Oklahoma State.
It's going to be a pinch hitter for Oklahoma State. It's going to be Michaela Wark coming in to pinch hit. Another substitution as well. Hayden Sokolski.
Running at second base for Factor is number 21, Hayden Sokolowski.
So Sokolowski takes second base.
Is at 12, Michaela Watt.
First pitch on the way from Aiken to the pinch hitter is ripped our way. This one foul, and they're going to say it's a home run. It stayed in play. A pinch hit home run for number 12 in white. Michaela Wark making an impact as soon as she checks in, and that puts us over the run rule mark. That's going to do it for the ball game.
Oklahoma State 15, Michigan 6. In the inning for the Cowgirls, 5 runs on 4 hits.
The final score here in WCBN's first coverage of the day, the final score, Oklahoma State 15, Michigan 6. And boy, the bats were red hot all day long for the number 5 ranked Oklahoma State Cowgirls. 15 runs on 14 hits.
That's absolutely right, Charlie. They were just dominant throughout the game, all facets of the lineup. They, from top to bottom, off the bench even now, just tremendous hitting at the plate. But don't go anywhere, because coming up in about 2 minutes, WCBN Sports will have live coverage of the face-off on the Lake. Michigan men's hockey takes on the Ohio State Buckeyes live from First Energy Stadium in Cleveland, Ohio. And then we'll be back on WCBN Sports 2 for Michigan's coverage, Michigan's game against Mississippi State. So again, don't go anywhere. A packed weekend of coverage, a packed Saturday here on WCBN Sports. So stay tuned for our hockey coverage right after this.
But until then, we'll see you over on WCBN Sports 2 for our softball coverage, as Kellen mentioned, as Michigan will face off against the Mississippi State Bulldogs. The final from Clearwater, Florida, between the Michigan Wolverines and the Oklahoma State Cowgirls. Oklahoma State 15, Michigan 6. And for now, we're going to leave you with a good afternoon, a go blue, and make sure to stay tuned for hockey and tune on over to WCBN Sports 2 for some more softball.